All right. So using the stop loss, using the stop loss is really, 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 really important, especially if you haven't been trading that long. You don't want to get into engaging in a trade and you're not really sure about the impact of that trade, especially if you want to get in a trade before you go to sleep. So we're going to talk about how to use the stop loss. We're going to talk about how we use the stop loss. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do the introduction. We're going to build confidence, talk about building confidence with using the stop loss, engage in the process, and then final tips and takeaways. We won't be on here long. We won't be on here long. The power of the stop loss. You know, Kim, the stop loss can be like the biggest either bodyguard or babysitter when it comes to well, preventing a reversal depending on the on whatever direction the trend is. Stop loss can help with risk management. Again, I keep going back to a few weeks ago when Richard talked about a trade that maybe he wasn't really sure about, but his analysis told him that this was going in an upper movement. But just in case, he put a short stop loss in. He didn't risk very much, but he ended up making money in the trade because his initial analysis said there was going to be an upper movement, but he had a little doubt. So he said, well, just in case, I'm going to do this short stop loss. And he only risked 5 pips. Okay? So the power of the stop loss, if you're not sure, especially if you haven't been trading that long, you want to be able to use the stop loss. And we're going to talk about where and how can we use that here in a little bit. Overcoming nervousness. Y'all, is this not a big deal when you're trying to get in a trade, or if you're trying to figure out, oh my God, I'm not sure what this is going to do? It doesn't that make it like almost like, oh my God, well, how do I do it? Do I need it? Did I put it in correctly?
You're so right.
Right? So all of these questions come up, especially when you haven't been trading that long. So we're going to talk about that too. So understanding every situation is different, right? The market could be volatile, right? There could be heavy resistance or support depending on what direction your trade is going in. It could bounce back really hard. Or you could be at work, on your way to work. You get in a trade before you leave work, and you get to work, and there could be a deal where I want to put my stop loss inside of profit, right? The other thing, mindset is really, really important here. Mindset is really, really important. And I think some people don't do stop loss because they think that it makes them an inferior trader to use use the stop loss, which is kind of crazy if you think about that. TP, just like a stop loss, is a partner or tools that we use to be better traders, and again, to increase profits and also protect profits already made. Everybody understand?
Yes.
And then have a complete understanding of price action. So I need to understand where structure is and how that could affect where I put my stop loss. So let's get into that. I think I stopped sharing my screen here. Hold on one second. Okay. So Kim and I were looking at gold last night. All right. So this cone is very narrow. This cone is also represents structure as well. And let's say that price here breaks this trend line, comes to this H4 and goes past this H4. And now I'm looking at maybe taking gold from here to here. However, I have to figure out, well, if I'm going to enter the trade here, where exactly do I put my stop loss? Well, your stop loss could be made for you here. It could be here at structure, right? Everybody knows how volatile GBP pairs are. You might want to have a stop loss. GBP pairs, anybody knows that you could see GBP retreat in the opposite direction for 40, 50 pips and then turn around and go back and hit TP. So when you're doing that, you also have to consider the instrument that you're trading at that particular point. So let's say you're not 100% sure about TP. First of all, if you're not sure about TP, you probably shouldn't get in the trade in the first place. But let's say I want to use certain elements of price action to help me with my stop loss. So I could use, like if I entered the trade here, I could use the H4 here. I can make this my stop loss. I can use this flat bottom candle as my stop loss. I can use the trend line as my stop loss. I can use different elements as my stop loss. Or if you're certain that maybe you think you got in the trade early. So if I get in the trade early, I can expect what?
Pullbacks.
I can expect a pullback. So if I feel like I got in the trade early, then I have to realize think, well, maybe it may pull back 10, 15 pips. Maybe I want to have a 20 pip trailing stop. I'm sorry, 20 pip stop loss. It's very simple. If my entry is, let's say my entry is here, then I can put left click on your mouse and just go back here, and then I can just count the pips here, right? And then I can make that determination once I said, okay, this is as far as I'm going to risk. This is how many pips I want to risk. And that last group of numbers on the right-hand side, 4629.63, that would be my stop loss. Now I know whatever amount of pips that I've risked, I know I'm not risking any more of that than that, because if it hits that, then it's going to kick me out of the trade. One of the things that we talk about when we're learning price action, because that is the core of this educational platform, price action, I know that there's going to be losses in this game. But what we want to do is to have those losses at a minimum. Now, there's another kind of stop loss, the mental stop loss. If you knew, the first thing you think about, you're not thinking about, you don't know anything about structure. Maybe you want to, be like, well, I only want to risk 10 pips. Let's take a look at another pair. Let's look at USD JPY. So see, I'm sitting here at USD JPY. Matter of fact, the 8 o'clock candle just popped up here. But let's say here, I see these group of candles here, and maybe I want to use that as a structure, and I come down from here to here, and it's 13 pips. Well, that might be enough. But what if you only want to do 10? I only want to risk 10 pips. Then there it is right here. It says 10.3, but here it is right here. That last group of numbers, 159.951. That is going to be my stop loss. So you have the structural stop loss. You have the stop loss depending on the instrument that you're trading. And then you have the mental stop loss. Now, I break it down like that because those things are real, especially the mental stop loss. When you first get in, everybody wants to hold on tight to their wallets, right? Well, I don't want to muck this up, so, I'm only going to do 10 pips. If you roll past 10 pips, I'm going to get out. That's all I want to do. But as you become more familiar with certain pairs, right? Then you'll know, hey, these pairs can get a little aggressive. Now, one thing we need to talk about, well, when do I use the stop loss? I think it's a great practice to use your stop loss all the time, especially when you're new. I think it's a great practice to use your stop loss all the time. Although, if you take the practice of, hey, I want to, like I tell everybody, I think you should watch 3 to 5 pairs and trade them the same time every day, to the point that you start recognizing movements, start recognizing breakouts. That will help you with your stop loss too, especially if you're familiar with it. When you first get into trading, people want to be all over the place. But I stress, I implore, I beg for people, hey, pick 3 to 5 pairs and watch them like a hawk. Same time every day. If you want to go and trade 2 hours, then make it the best 2 hours of trading you possibly have, and you're just watching those 3 to 5 pairs going back and forth. That way you start, after you do it a particular number of times, you will start recognizing traits at particular times during your trading period about what those are going to do, what days they move. Y'all understand?
Yes.
What
Yes.
pairs run with the pair that you like? Sometimes you can get 2 for 1. If you're looking at, if AUD JPY is one of your favorite pairs, then you should also look at AUD USD because they run together. Any questions? Now, see, Kim, these
Yes.
people, These people done bought you some punishment.
Oh Lord, y'all come
No,
on.
it's too
Hey,
late.
talk.
It's too
Y'all
late.
about to
It's
get
too
me
late.
killed. Y'all
See,
about to
y'all,
get me in
listen, let me
trouble.
tell you, I was going to cancel class tonight
Oh, I'm
because
glad
I
you did.
know that everybody is going to have their eyes on the national championship game. And then Kim said, no, there's going to be people that'll come on that maybe are sports fans, but they're still. And I said, no, they're not. No, they're not. I've been doing this long enough to know. It's certain things. That's the reason why we don't do class on Super Bowl night. That's the reason why we don't do class on Game 7 of the NBA Finals. It's the reason why we don't do class on Game 7 of the World Series, because they are intriguing sports events, and people, even though they sign on, they're not going to be engaged because their attention is on the TV. And I dig it, because in a few minutes I was going to ask, hey, what's the score? So I understand. And I told Kim, I said, hey, listen, nobody's going to be engaging really, except for Tammy tonight. And everybody's going to be in the game.
And
So,
me.
so
My life is on the line. My life is on the
it's
line.
too late.
Y'all gotta help me
It's too
out.
late.
I need a
It's
lifeline.
too late. It's too late. It's too late. It's
If
too
you love
late.
me, help me. Just
I'm gonna
talk,
help you
ask
because
questions, say something.
I'm gonna help you because you said three times
y'all,
he was doing
no,
it.
no, no.
Look, you said three times you were doing stop loss. I've been waiting every time because for some reason I be getting invalid things sometimes come up and I'm like, why is it invalid? So
So,
you have to
well,
figure it
listen, here's the thing
out.
about, here's the thing. Now, you have to, if you have a slow or fast moving pair, if you're getting invalid, that just means that price has passed your stop loss point. So now you have to refigure where that stop loss needs to be.
Well, thank you.
Just
I
remember
have a
that.
question.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Kim.
Richard. No,
Uh,
I was just gonna say, Tammy, remember for everybody else, when you're setting the stop loss, if you're in a buy, I think everybody knows this, your stop loss is going to be the opposite direction. So you're gonna be looking for it going away, going down. And if you're in a sale, you're gonna be looking going up. Sometimes when people get invalid, it's because they put in a number that's below or above where
Opposite.
they should be.
Yeah, I
Yes.
used to do that. I figured that part. I figured that part out, but then I still was getting. I'm like, okay, but he's right about that volatility when they're going kind of fast. I think I got my stuff set up. I'll try to write it down prior to, like what's going to be my stop loss. What's going to, I got my TP, blah blah blah. But
Now,
sometimes
Tammy,
then
there's
sometimes.
another thing you need to think about too.
Uh-huh. I listen.
If let's say uh, you are looking for an upper movement, but you want to use stop loss, and price keeps going the opposite direction in which you wish price to go, then you're probably in a trade at the wrong time if you keep getting invalid. I'm just giving an example. So if you're looking for a buy and you're trying to put in a stop loss and it keeps going invalid, that means price is moving the other way. You feel me?
Yes, I do.
So you might need, if you're getting that a couple of times, you might need to pause and take a look and see what price is. Also, make sure you're on the right time frame too. Richard, go ahead. You were going to say something?
yes, think those of us that trade the news, we have a pretty clear understanding of the value of the stop loss. But when we're just doing our regular trading, I guess one of the things that we I'm thinking that we have to do when we are doing a stop loss is also understand the pairs where certain pairs, let's say if you're doing a 5 pip stop loss, it may kick you out quicker than what you want to be kicked out. Like for example, a GBP pair where your pullback could be quick and it could be easily more than 5 pips. So how do we address those situations?
Well, for you know, if you get into a GBP pair, especially during the London session, now since Brexit, there hasn't really been any strong London sessions, but let's just say we happen to get in one that's volatile. Everybody needs to understand that GBP could roll back 40 pips. And if you haven't been trading that long, GBP pairs are not the pairs that you might want to be trading. So if I'm looking at, let's say, a 25 or 30 pip TP, right? Its chances are that that thing could get to 10, 15 pips and then pull back 40 before it hits TP. If you're trading during the London session, because everybody knows what happens at 3 a.m. The banks start pulling the money, right? And then at 5 a.m. they put it back. There's been many times over the years that we've gotten in the pairs and we're up 15, 20, 18, 20, 25 pips. And then all of a sudden around 3 a.m., it starts going the other way. And it starts going the other way big. And the first time that ever happened to me, I was in a big panic. But then when we start realizing what was happening, and right around 5 a.m., clockwork, the money comes back. So you have to understand what you're trading, right? So what's the best way to handle it? If you know, right? If you know, then it's not a problem. If you don't know, or if you can't handle it, if you can't stomach those kind of pullbacks, then I wouldn't trade the pair. I mean, it's Richard, it's rather cut and dry on that on that on that part. I mean, the characteristics of GBP pairs, especially GA, GJ, GN, they're very volatile, especially GA. Y'all feel me on that?
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all.
The
Well,
other thing to add, Derek, the other thing to add to that, kind of to what Richard was asking, and for everybody with stop losses, you also, as an early trader, I had to learn this. You got to give your trade room to breathe. If you got your stop loss too tight, even if you say, "Hey, I don't want to lose with 10 pips," you're not giving it time room to breathe and move. You're probably going to get stopped out with the stop loss. So you do have to, as you look at the different pairs you're trading, got to give it some opportunity to be able to move, because you will have the pullbacks.
the other thing too about this, like the scenario we were talking about with with Richard's, I think, brilliant tactician of navigating that. What pair was that? GA?
I can't, it may have been, and it was one of the Super 25s that you gave.
Okay,
And actually, what it was, I didn't, I you have been so point on with them, and it was late, and I did a pending order and did the 5 pip stop loss.
right.
And but yeah, it was one of the Super 25s. I think it may have been GA.
So we're gonna do another class of the stop loss tomorrow. But I want everybody to understand is the more intimate that you have with certain pairs, the stop loss is going to be easier to use. So if I know that, hey, I'm in, depending on where price is on the chart and how that depends on the structure, if I have great momentum, it could be a fast moving pair. But you have to also understand whatever that is. Like trying to trade gold during the New York session. Gold is so attached to so many things, news and so forth, the dollar, that maybe your stop losses have to be tight. Gold, if it's going to hit TP, it's going to hit TP. But if a news event happens that's going to affect gold, then gold's going to snap back really quick. So that's why, like Dr. Price, all she trades 90%. I want to say, Dr. Price, you trade 90% of your trades are gold trades, right? So if that's the case, nobody knows gold better than Dr. Price. So you just have to get familiar with these, especially if you're new. Especially if you're new. So we'll talk about this some more tomorrow night, but I just wanted to whet our palates about stop losses, and then we'll get into the really nitty gritty about stop losses tomorrow. All right, everybody. Now y'all can go watch the game.
I got a question. What's still?
Sure.
Um, the um the list Miss Kim sent out the pair GBP AUD.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm not looking at the. Oh man, okay. I got my glasses on too. Okay. All right.
So this right here, GBP AUD, she crazy. So if you're not familiar with this, I would probably try looking at this in your demo, right? Or this is a perfect thing if you do get in a GBP AUD trade, you want to probably make for the first couple of times, make that stop loss tight. But
does he have it on his list? Because I've done that before, and I've had it on my list and thinking I had that pair.
I got
You do.
no, I don't have wait a minute, I don't have all those.
Well,
see, yeah.
when you go here, these lists right here, and you want to start clicking on these, right? You want to start clicking on these, and then once you do that, they'll start populating.
That's not how. No,
what?
That won't happen. And let me just add. He has to go to his market watch table and add the symbol. It will not put it.
Oh
in
yeah,
that,
that's right. That's right. Yeah, you got to go here and add them.
I got to go where?
See this little box here in your MetaTrader 4 where it says Market Watch?
Okay.
Right? And then you start adding these.
No. Let me clarify. You pull your market watch table up like he has. So go to view, click on market watch. It's gonna bring the table up that you see. Then you got to go up to view and click on symbols. Go up there, go up to view and click symbols there, please.
I don't think you have to.
Okay. All right.
Symbols.
Click on symbols, and now, like Forex here. So Forex, any one of these that are not highlighted, but you have to also look and see which one of these is actually like, you're not trading US dollar and Turkish lira, so you don't need that. But if you want to trade, silver and Australian dollar or gold and Australian dollar, you could click these. So you just go through here, click on this, and any one of these symbols that aren't clicked and you want to trade them, then you have to click them. Like all these in yellow, these are on my Intrepid symbol changer.
Okay, yeah, the highlighted yellows.
Yes. And the ones that aren't highlighted are not down here.
Right. Okay. Okay, I got you. So I got to add those. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's my question. Thank you. Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
Okay, you got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Miss Kim.
All right, y'all. We'll get back to it tomorrow night. Y'all go enjoy the game, and keep your eyes on the chat because I might add some signals during the game because I like to look at the chart and look at the game at the same time.
All right.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.